Hey guys, in today's video, I will be discussing how to pass the IELTS speaking test in 7 easy steps. These 7 steps have helped thousands of my students pass the IELTS speaking test. So if you want to know about these different steps, then make sure you continue watching because I guarantee these steps will help you with your IELTS exam. The first step I have for you is that you should try not to answer using the same vocabulary that was mentioned in the question. So what I mean by this is you should try to use synonym language when you answer, guys, because remember, this is an English test and you need to impress the examiner with your English speaking skills. So if you show the examiner that you are able to pull out synonym language or related vocabulary within the given topic, this will help you pass the IELTS speaking test. So for those of you who don't know, there are 3 different parts in the IELTS speaking test. So it's important that you know about these 3 different parts and what you should expect from each section. So I will link down a video in my description box that will help you with part 1, part 2, and part 3 individually because it's essential for you to know what to expect from these different parts. So step 2 is that you should take advantage of the 1 minute the examiner will give you in part 2 of the IELTS speaking section. So in part 2 of the IELTS speaking section, you will be given a question with a few other sub-questions that you need to answer, and you will be required to speak for 2 full minutes on these given questions. However, the examiner will give you 1 minute to prepare your answer before you have to talk for a full 2 minutes. So it's important that you take advantage of the 1 minute the examiner is giving you for preparation time. And if you are not sure how you can prepare your answers, how to outline your answers and brainstorm ideas, then check out my other video right above that I have linked, because this will help you learn about the most important technique that I have suggested to my students, which is outlining your answer within that 1 minute preparation time. The third step I highly recommend you to do is that you need to think about how you are going to introduce or start your discussion in part 2. Especially because you have 1 minute to prepare. You don't just want to write a bunch of gibberish down and then you don't know how to start your discussion. It's very important that you think about how you're going to introduce your discussion and how you're going to talk about it. Especially because this will make you sound confident in your answer, because you're not rumbling for words and you know how to discuss your answer. The fourth step I have for you in preparing for the IELTS speaking test is try to find alternatives when you are preparing for your exam. The reason why I highly recommend this is because I noticed that students oftentimes try to memorize answers they may be given in an IELTS speaking mock test, and this is not good because you are not 100% sure you're going to get that answer. So instead, you should look for alternatives such as maybe listening to a podcast or maybe watching a YouTube video of 2 English speakers discussing. Try to consider the vocabulary they are using, the sentence structure they are using. And if you are not sure of a particular vocabulary word, then make an effort to look up the word, because that way you can use these words that you learned in the podcast or in the YouTube videos in your IELTS speaking test. And step 5, guys, I touched up on it a little previously, is do not try to memorize answers. Even if you decide to go ahead and do mock tests, do not try to memorize answers. Instead, try to become familiar with the structuring of the different parts of the IELTS speaking test. The 6th step I have for you guys today is try to become familiar with the IELTS speaking criteria. So it's important that you understand what the examiner is looking for exactly in IELTS speaking by going through the band descriptors, looking up sample questions and answers that will score you a band 7 compared to an answer that will score you a band 9. It's important that you become familiar with this. And last but not least, guys, the 7th step is that do not try to use complicated vocabulary when you are answering your question. The reason why is because pronunciation is actually part of the band descriptor for the IELTS speaking test. So don't try to impress the speaker by trying to use a complicated words you are having a hard time pronouncing. Instead, use simple words, but try to use it in the right context. So guys, if you like this video, then don't forget to subscribe to my channel because I put out content every Friday to help you with your IELTS exam. And also, don't forget to check out my website at ESLWords.com, where I have lots of other great articles with tips and strategies in all the different parts of the IELTS exam. And last but not least, guys, if you'd like to see some IELTS speaking mock questions and answers that will help you score a band 9, then check out this video that I have linked above.